Next. We'll start a video while others join. This is about cost management, and let's see. Do I have cost?
Hi, welcome to PMP webinar session from EduWaker. Today we are going to look at cost management knowledge area defined in PMBOK of PMI. I am CMR, Chandra MR, a project management professional and colleagues. All the processes. If you are looking for an online training certificate, when we say project cost management, we need to understand it basically includes about the cost which gets incurred, the expending value of the monetary investment which is being done by the organization. So project cost management basically includes the processes involved in planning, estimating, budgeting, financing, funding, managing and controlling costs so the project can be completed within approved budget. So this requires a detailed cost management plan where the cost of the resources which is required to be used in the project has to be assessed and understood, estimated and budgeted, which provide the details of how to plan, manage and control the project cost in relation to the cost baseline and the cost variances. So project cost management plan is one of the subsidiary plan in project management plan. So techniques like earned value management are used to check how the cost performance is happening throughout the project. So primarily project cost management is concerned with cost of resources needed to complete the project activities, and it will consider the effects of project decisions on the subsequent recurring costs of using, maintaining and supporting the product, service or results of the project. So now further to understand what is cost management is all about, the overview of it. So we need to look at what are the tailoring considerations made while doing the project cost management. So the tailoring considerations includes knowledge management, estimating and budgeting, earned value management, use of agile approach, and governance. When I say knowledge management, so it is very important for an organization to have a formal knowledge management and financial database repositories that project manager is required to use that is readily accessible so that right decisions can be made, taken at the right time. When I say estimating and budgeting, it requires to look at understanding, approximating what is the amount of money which is going to be incurred in that particular project, and accordingly the money, the monetary resources has to be allocated to the project. Based on that, project will be delivered and project manager should ensure the project will be delivered within that budgeted value, monetary value which is allocated to the project. So earned value management is a technique what is used to check how the project management relating to cost management in specific, schedule management as well as scope management, how it is performed, comparison with the baselines of these triple constraints defined in the baselines of the project. Using agile approach, which means depending on what kind of approach is required for the project scenario. The use of agile approach will be considered accordingly. Not necessarily that agile approach should be applicable to all the projects which is being done. So governance, when we say it's all about an authority, one which sets the directions, and it is very essential to have such directions set so that necessary controls are established through policies, procedures, and guidelines. So next type of cost we come across involves fixed cost, variable cost, direct cost, indirect cost, and sunk cost. When I say fixed cost, so these are the costs that do not change throughout the project lifecycle. For example, if a construction of a road is happening, the excavators and bulldozers are fixed cost. Whereas when I say variable cost, the cost of this varies throughout the project. For example, hourly labor, cost of material could vary as the project progresses. So indirect cost and direct cost. If you look at the direct and indirect cost, direct cost refers to that cost which clearly assigned to the project on the labor, materials which are directly involved in the project. When I say indirect cost,
Sir, there's a very disturbing noise. Sir, there's a
The
very disturbing noise from your mic. Sir, what are we doing?
modern.
no, no, we
That
are.
is the
One second, let me pause it.
given project.
So I am playing a video for cost management, and that is the new unit that we are going to start today.
So your mic was mute, so we couldn't hear anything.
Oh, okay. No, I muted my mic when you said there's a disturbance.
There was.
Okay, so that has muted the video as well.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Um, though there was, there could be some kind of a system noise because there's no ambient noise at my end. Uh, but okay, I've played this particular video sufficient. I'm going
Hmm.
to start with another one, which is talking about the control processes, cost controls, cost variances. Uh, you can watch this video at your home. Uh,
Okay, sir.
this one is wasn't it this one. Let me check this one. Yeah, this is the one.
Welcome to Project Management. In this video, I will talk about project progress monitoring and performance evaluation.
I'm going to
The
skip
project manager
this.
needs and collect the project done. The project progress report. Control holds people accountable, prevents small problems from mushrooming into large problems, and keeps people focusing on project success.
So this is one of the concepts in project reporting with regards to the variances. So there's a symbolic depiction in the picture out here. The yellow line is the baseline, and when a vehicle is not adhering to uh, the divider, then it is crisscrossing the baseline, which is the yellow line, and that is the variance in the planned, uh, your roadmap.
Control process can be divided into 4 steps. First, set a baseline plan for the project. The baseline is derived from the cost and duration information from the work breakdown structure and time sequence data from the project.
I'm going to skip.
Time actions from the project network and the working chart. Here shows the baseline Gantt chart for botanical garden project. The work and lighting.
This is about the time
The
variance.
horizontal
So
arrow
I'm
represents
skipping this.
baseline. To do it is the tool for tool. Do all activities on the current meeting, the projects are on behind schedule. Now, the plus stakeholders such as top management or residents, event project and shipping. The left only important side an integrated project management system based on the orange value concept that
Okay.
uses a time
So this is what I wanted you to focus on.
and phase budget based on to compare actual and planned schedule and costs. Here is a glossary of terms in this system. EV stands for orange value. It's the budgeted cost of the work actually performed. It's equal to the percentage of work completed times its original total budget. PV stands for planned value. It's a budgeted cost of the work scheduled in the baseline plan. AC stands for actual cost. It's the actual cost of the work performed. CV stands for cost variance, which is the difference between the earned value and the actual cost. A positive cost variance indicates the earned value is greater than the actual cost, which means the cost is under budget to date. A negative cost variance suggests the earned value is less than the actual cost, which means the cost is over budget. Therefore, we would prefer to see a positive cost variance. SB stands for schedule variance, which is the difference between the earned value and the planned value. A positive schedule variance indicates the earned value is greater than the planned value, and the project is ahead.
Okay, we'll stop here. We're not looking at the remaining formula as of now. And let me see. So this is a depiction of the calculations, the cost variance, schedule variance, and estimate at completion and variance at completion. So this, and we, after this, we'll go back to our presentation. I have to use this because this is making use of some calculations. Now, the blue line is the original line, which is your schedule or the plan. And this is depiction. This is depicting the cost with time. So the x-axis is the time. So it shows weeks 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the y-axis is the cost. So the plan says that at the end of week 3, we would have, executed work worth $50. And at the end of week 5, we would have completed the work and the value of that would have been $100. Now, if today is end of week 3, then if at the end of week 3, if we have executed work which is worth only $25, then what is the schedule variance? And that is indicated by this
Mm-hmm.
line. So 150 minus 25 is minus 25. I have to, sorry, EV comes first in the formula. That is the practice. And if it is negative, it says we are behind schedule in terms of execution of the work completed. So, when you take this numerical figures, a dollar figure, and assume we are using dollars in India, uh, whatever work we are doing, we have to map it to the dollar value. Because if somebody says, I have written one program, then how do you apply this calculation? You can apply this calculation if you convert that one program into a dollar figure.
Dollar. Mm-hmm.
So the calculations always have to be numerical. You can't say that I completed one program and I wrote one document and I completed one training. No, everything has to be in dollars. But in order to execute even this half the work, because 25 150 is half, you actually incurred an expense of $75. That is, if you map it to the work, the resources that we deployed, they could have actually executed work worth $75. So that is how you interpret actual cost. So maybe in order to execute even this $25 worth of work, we have deployed thrice the resources, thrice the programmers.
Okay, so that means actual cost it got was $75, and it was interpreted that the outcome will be of $50, but the outcome was $25. So they are $25. So that is the reason there is minus $25.
Yeah, but so the cost variance has become minus $50,
Mm-hmm.
which is EV minus AC. So, though I have not seen a trend of using this cost variance so much in practice, but these are the fundamentals of cost management. What has happened is every organization, they have further developed their own calculations and their own practices and their own control mechanisms. So this may not be used in real life, but then this is going to give you the concept as to how the controls can be implemented in an organization. Okay, so if we can do a small calculation. So rather than doing it at week 3, let's do it at week 2. Now at week 2, the figures have not been given because the lines have not been drawn, or the horizontal lines. So you can't figure it out exactly. But what you can do is you can just assume approximate figure. So I would say the actual cost is $40. You, one second, I'll note it down. I have to reduce the size. Yeah. So AC is 40, approximately
40.
40. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And PV is at the end of second
20.
week, yeah, approximately 20.
20.
And
7
EV,
to 10 we can consider, sir. 10 or
yeah, 10 is good
okay,
enough.
10.
Okay. So now, what would be cost variance and what would be the schedule variance? So EV starts first. So I'll say 10 here and 10
10.
here. And then
10 minus
40.
40. Yes, which is
So that is
minus
equal to
30.
30. And similarly
And
here,
10
10
minus 20 is
20.
minus 10.
Yeah, that is equal to minus 10. So This is the cost variance and the schedule variance at the end of week 2.
Second.
Yeah. Okay, so now we'll come back to the presentation. I'll close this here. And this video also you need to see. I'll upload it in the classroom.
Okay.
But before that, I had in mind, I have noted few discussion points. These are a little generic. Okay, I'll open this. Can you read this now? I mean, is it readable? What is
Yes,
a
sir.
good way to?
Ye-
Yeah, okay.
What is a good way to learn practice project management?
Yeah,
So
so let
I
me. Yeah, you can go ahead and read this. But before
uh,
that, I will just see if anybody. Okay, no, nobody has joined. No issues. They'll be losing. Okay, go ahead.
Hmm. So I'm a software engineer for more than 20 years. I've worked in various types of projects, but I have never managed any large scale ones. I recently I feel that I need to learn some project management in order to be able to get some more advanced projects to manage. So my question is split in two parts. What is a good way to learn project management, and do you have any suggestions on how I can do some practice? So should I read the answer as well?
No, but we didn't read the explanation of these first and second point. You need to read that also.
Okay. I'm reading various books about organizing a project and also trying various online courses like Udemy, business analysis, plan the plan the project. The problem I mostly face is that feel that I feel that all these are overcomplicated and a lot of information that are given in the courses are not used in real world. Example, defining the stakeholders of the project is kind of a redundant, unnecessary, as in reality this step is going to be done by how you call it instinct. It seems like natural progression while planning the project, as you will eventually face various people involved to do it or not if it is a small one. Do you have any suggestion on how I can do some practice? I need to get some confidence about project management. Do you have any ideas of where I can do some practice on a real life project? What is your advice? How did you start getting your experience?
Okay, so there are five answers to this, and I think since only you two are there, both of you can identify 2 points, and then we'll present
Mhm.
it. So we'll take a break for 2 minutes.
So can you post the link here as well?
Okay, 1 second. I need some water.
Okay, okay.
Okay, it is there in the Telegram as well. So this topic is
Yes, sir.
actually part of introduction. So I'm going back a little, but I didn't want to miss it.
So here they're suggesting that don't only read the material, but you can also pursue a certification course such as PMP. And he's saying that since it involves like a financial commitment, ask your company if they would pay for your certification test. And also, he in another answer, he's suggesting that in to other way it would be to join project management meetups in their area so that he builds up networking and he can meet many people. And also there might be a case that some people have opening in their companies, right? So he might get lucky and get an interview. So he's suggesting like go out for like meetups, project management meetups.
Yeah, right. And I started looking up that uh, to give you an example. And so, project management groups near you, Project Managers Club of Pune. I opened that, and you can join this. I'm going to paste it here for you. You can join this and see what kind of discussions are happening. I'll paste it here as well. And I'll also join it. Okay, but I have to fill a lot of things. I'll join later. And these must be okay. So they have started organizing webinars. Though it may clash with your classes, but whenever it does not clash, you can join for a few minutes and see if it is good. So they have paid trainings as well. Okay, and there's a seminar on MS Project, Microsoft Project. And so sometimes people join these meetups to sell their services as well. And but I would suggest that you join this, and then we may get some more. Why is it not there? This is about certification. So Edureka is having a large number of members. Some of them, they're not from India, but you can still try them and see what is the quality of the discussions. Okay. So this is a product school. There should be more, but I think it has, one second. It is the same result I'm getting out here. Okay, the reason why it has given me this is because it went by my geographical location. So if it is some other city, then it might give me a different result. Microsoft Project Professional Group. So these agile is a different methodology for project management. We are not discussing agile here. Of late, agile has become popular, and this is also based out of Pune. And there's a lot of overlap because I see this face. I saw this face in the other one as well, other group.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Okay. So back to my, sorry. We were discussing the answers. Okay. So yeah. So you should definitely join meetups because you will find you may even discover job opportunities there. And so
Hmm.
So one thing what he suggested is that if you have work experience of more than 20 years, why not take up some of the project management responsibilities? That is a good way to learn. And he's saying, apart from the books, go for the training as well, uh, because training is going to be, what? How is the training different from reading books? A training will give you a jump start. So both should be done in parallel. Continue to read the books and look at the videos, but by going for a dedicated training, a boot camp kind of a training, in 5 days you can learn what you would otherwise learn in 6 months. Okay, and then he's also saying that he is not agreeing. I think the next answer also says that. For example, you're mentioning it's unnecessary to identify the stakeholders. He's saying that is not a correct thought process. And once you uh, encounter a situation when you start getting new stakeholders, then you will change your thought process. Okay, the second one. So you want to comment on the second answer? Monica, you want to comment here?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to read this second one, second answer?
Yes, sir. No, I have to read, sir. Read it out, sir.
No, don't read it out. I want you to read it, digest it, and then share your thoughts with the class.
Actually, act- actually, I don't. It won't come to me, na, sir. Another for opening another tab.
You are on the mobile. So why don't you read it from the screen? I have opened that on the screen.
I
Can you
have
read
read
it?
what Mrunalini explained, na, sir. PMP certificate that I have read, sir. Already Mrunalini explained.
Yes. Now the second answer, which is on the screen.
Okay, sir. I will read and I will say, sir.
Yeah. But before that, Monica, do you want to try clicking on the link in the chat? Because I pasted the link in the chat. What happens if you click the link in the chat
I have tried, sir. I
and
have tried, sir. But
and
this
you
class is closing, sir.
okay? Uh, I've seen it closing when I minimize it, but
He, Mrunalini, Mrunalini,
Yes, Moni. Yes.
I have sent screenshot. Please send it to sir.
Okay, wait.
yes, she shared that screenshot with me earlier. And what my experience has been that if I minimize the window, then I tend to get disconnected. But if I'm clicking on the chat itself, then I don't lose a connection. And then in order to go back, I click on that leftmost icon on the mobile on the bottom tray, and which gives me the choice of moving to a different window, different application, and I can then navigate back to the Google Meet. Because if it was so difficult, I don't think people would have been able to connect via mobile. I think there is some small thing that is getting missed out here. Somewhere
Actually, presently I'm not having laptop, sir.
no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is if, if it was so difficult to attend via the mobile, then not many people would have used mobile for meetings, but people are still using it. Like if people get disconnected, by opening of another app or a window. I don't think that should happen. So what you can do is you can yourself create a meeting, or through some other mobile in your house, and then join this, and then do some hit and trial, and try to figure out under what conditions can you stay connected.
Okay, sir.
There must be a solution. I'm pretty sure about that.
Actually, when I was opened that link, I have created one meeting. It is coming like that, sir.
I am not able to understand what is happening on your mobile, but I'm sure there is a solution. That is
No,
all I
no
know.
problem, sir. Monday onwards, I will use laptop only, sir. I am going to home by
Okay.
Sunday.
Okay. Fine. So, I'll go through this answer. Uh,
Sir.
no, I'm saying I will go through this answer myself.
Actually, we came for internship, sir, to do physical internship in Hyderabad location. We have completed our internship, sir. We are waiting for our certificates.
Okay.
We got our certificates. We want to go to our home by Sunday. We will go, sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Good.
Yes, sir. By
Okay.
Monday onwards, I will be open in laptop through my laptop, sir.
Okay. 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 Fine. Okay. So what this guy is saying is that you do familiarize with the PMBOK, and use learn the tool of Microsoft Project, and when you're doing this, don't treat anything as gospel, uh, because there are different ways of approaching the same thing. So there is no single correct answer. And one of the important things is to focus on communication and planning. And last point worth mentioning out here is start looking the activities that are happening in your project from the perspective of a project manager. So even if you are not the project manager, start try to identify the elements of project management in the activities around you. And there are other answers which you can go through, and other discussion threads. And this one thing is there. I'll share uh, 1 second. Okay. So this portal of the Stack Exchange, it has got topics on many things. It'll take a while to bring that up, and I'm going to post it here as well. Let me see if it has come. Yeah, it has come. So you may find that there are some other things that are of interest to you. Uh, User experience is one good thread to read through, and there must be probably at least 100 out here. So you can go through this and then see if something is interesting for you. And I think there's an equivalent site called Stack Overflow. Okay, but I'm trying to figure out how to take a look at all the sites out here. Tags. Okay, so this guy is using tags to identify different things. So, so a lot of tags. It has got a lot of pages. So it is running into 1756 pages. I have no idea how to get all the tags. I have to filter by tag name. So let me see if I can get by law. Uh, yeah, it does have some tags related to the law as well. Okay, you can spend some time on it. So very good content.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now back to the PPT. Cost management. Okay, we'll read this and we'll proceed. So yeah, you can go ahead and read this, Monica.
So, okay.
Yeah, you can read this. No problem. Really.
Project cost management is a process involved in planning, estimating, budgeting, financing, funding, managing, and controlling costs so that the project can be completed within the approved budget.
Okay. Yeah. So now we'll go to the terms, the concepts in the domain, in the knowledge domain of cost management. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mm. So, earned value management, EVM, a project management technique for measuring project performance and progress based on comparison of work performed and work planned. Life cycle costing, the concept of looking at cost over the entire life of product, not just the cost of the project to create the product. Analysis, value engineering, the concept that focuses on finding a less costly way to do some work. Cost risk is cost related risks.
Okay. So the earned value management, we did a simple example on that. So this is earned value is the dollar equivalent of the work performed. Uh, so if a project requires 10 programs and you have written 5 programs, then hypothetically 50% of the project value has been realized. So we earned value is not revenue figure, it is not sales figure. So a project costing might be 100 rupees, but it may be sold at 1000 rupees. But we are looking only at that 100 rupees as far as the earned value is concerned. We are, in all the calculations, it will just be the 100 rupees, not the 1000 rupees. Life cycle costing. So, not a often used term in calculations. So, life cycle is, I can give you an example of a car, and some manufacturers have started predicting these figures. So, what that means is, let's say you buy a car for 10 lakhs, and every year you're spending, let us say, 20,000 rupees on the car for the maintenance and services, and on an average 20,000 rupees. And the car, when you decide to sell it at the end of 10 years, you sell it for 2 lakhs. So, what is the life cycle costing of the car? So, upfront cost is 10 lakhs, and you sold it for 2 lakhs. So, the net value is 8 lakhs. So, I'm not
Eight.
applying, interest to it. I'm assuming there's no interest, zero interest. And there's 20,000 every year. So for 10 years, it is 2 lakhs. So to that 8 lakhs, you again add the 2 lakhs. So it has become 10 lakhs. So the cost of the car is 10 lakhs for you. This is the life cycle cost. The same thing can be done for every machinery. There's a purchasing price, and then there is a annual maintenance, and then there is a disposal cost, or the buyback price. For example, you bought some appliance in your house. Uh, maybe it's a fridge, and then you go to a shop and they say, "I have an old fridge. If I buy the new fridge, will you buy back my old fridge from me?" So then you pay the net price. value analysis, the concept that focuses on finding a less costly way to do the same work. Okay, the concept is easy. I don't have a
Yes,
uh,
sir, it's easy.
easy, ready-made example to do this, but it sometimes happens. I'll tell you by import substitution. The import many a times they will be costly because they travel a distance and then they there's a extra duty on that. So uh, if you buy a local substitute, find a local substitute, it will be cheaper. And then there is a I don't know whether this would be considered in a value analysis, but that is a way to do a work cheaper. Definitely. Cost risk, cost related risk. Okay, straightforward. So one example for the cost related risk, that is when you're buying a item in dollars and Indian rupee fluctuates against the dollar, the price of the item can go up over a period of
Hmm.
time. So that is a cost related risk. And or it may apply to many items that are being imported. It can apply to coal, it can apply to oil, etc.
So to avoid this, forward contracts are made, na, sir?
Uh, yes, I'm not from that particular area, but
Okay.
you can make that uh, a forward contract, and you can also to have a consistency in the pricing. Uh, uh, and to avoid the hassles of fluctuating price. One thing what companies normally do is they will always denominate an item. They'll sign the deal in dollars, even if they're buying it from some other country. They will use dollars to do that. So it will not save from the cost fluctuations, but it will at least save the hassles of fluctuating invoice amounts. Yeah, but that forward contracts is a limit to how much how far in the future you can go.
Hmm.
If it is a recurring thing, then how much can you go? Then that forward contract, it looks to me like a hedging because it can work the other
Yes,
way
sir,
around.
hedging, exactly. It works like an insurance.
Yeah. Okay, you can read this.
Types of costs: variable cost, costs that change with the amount of work; fixed cost, costs that do not change with the amount of work; direct cost, a cost directly attributable to the work on the project; indirect cost, overhead items or costs incurred for the benefit of more than one project; cost estimate ranges, rough order of magnitude used during project initiating, typical range -25 to +75%. Budget estimate when starting the plan, uh,
Iteration.
iteration, typical range -10 to +25%. Definitive estimate, uh, a progress planning progresses, typical range ±10% or -5 to +10%.
Okay, so these are some more terms that come under the domain of cost management. So, what is the example of now? In some situations, variable cost might be the same as direct cost, and fixed cost might be the same as indirect cost, but not in all situations. So, variable cost, and
Variable
so
cost,
example,
so
yeah,
electricity,
yes, electricity is
fixed
pure consumption.
cost. Mhm.
Though when
Fixed
you
cost
get the
can be
bill,
rent.
no, but when you get the bill of the electricity, there will be a fixed amount as well. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
that is a very small amount, especially in commercial establishments.
Mhm.
The major part of the bill is variable, and it
Mhm.
can be you can consider your fuel consumption in the car. So that is a
Mhm.
variable cost.
Variable cost, yes. Fixed cost can be rent, so it
Yeah,
doesn't matter. It doesn't depend on your production.
yes.
Direct cost can
Salaries.
be wages. and indirect can be, a salary to manager.
Yeah, Monica, you were saying something?
Fixed cost example salaries I am saying, sir.
No. Fixed cost, no, salary is not fixed cost. It's going to be variable because maybe when the production goes up, you hire more labor, but it's going to go up. So salary cost is a variable cost. It'll uh, so probably now here I would say direct cost is a better term for the salary
Mm.
because sometimes it's not so directly proportional to the your production. So electricity is more directly proportional, but salary is going to be proportional, but it will be in slabs. For only when the production goes above a threshold, then the company will hire more labor or more managers or more supervisors. So labor is a direct cost, but the middle management or the upper management, that is like a indirect cost.
Indirect cost.
Yeah, and mm, and anybody who's serving the entire company, they'll be indirect cost. So HR manager is also an indirect cost. So
Indirect cost.
yeah, so mm, so in some cases you may find that you know there can be sometimes overlap between um, indirect and fixed. For example, uh, if the company is never going to have more than one HR manager, then indirect cost and the fixed cost are the same. But it is possible that if the company keeps growing, then it may have more than one HR manager. So in that case, uh, uh, the fixed cost and indirect cost become different. But uh, uh, these concepts they will be more related to a project. So in case of a project, then we don't consider those scenarios that it keeps growing and there are more HR managers and all that. So uh, if the project is about some machinery in plant, so that becomes fixed cost. And but if in uh, uh, yeah, and the things which are shared across uh, multiple projects and within the project across multiple tasks and sub projects, then those are indirect costs. Uh, so there is a possibility of having a overlap, very well becoming direct and uh, fixed becoming indirect. Though sometimes the direct cost may not be variable. Uh, um, so there can be a small nuances as well. And I'm trying to think of an example. And one example is, uh, uh, let us say, the company has to hire or the project has to hire an auditorium to conduct some meeting or something. Now, let us say the only auditorium that is available to them has a capacity of 300 people. But let us say the project is not that big. Project is like 50 people. Now, it may uh, even if the project grows, 50 can become 60 or 70 or 80, but not significantly more than that. So the auditorium is not a variable cost in this situation, but it is a direct cost because that cost is directly attributable to that particular project. So sometimes it can be same, but then there can be nuances where it is different. But uh, more generally, the variable and the fixed will be come into play. The indirect uh, may not be that much into the play in project costing. Sorry, the rough order of magnitude. So when a project is being conceived, I think we are, yeah. I think we should close it now. We'll start from here.
Okay, sir.
Remember this. Yeah. Okay. And
Thank you, sir.
okay, ठीक है, चलो.
Bye.
Okay,
Thanks.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye. Mm. Ay.